Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, November 7th, and I'm Kristen McDonald. This week on Norwood News, Kiki returns to her teaching roots, the community rallies for people in need, and a local company raises a generous donation to a cause close to them. All this and more on this week's Norwood News. Public access television has been a part of Norwood's story since the early 1980s. When you think back to those early years of community TV, it's hard not to remember Joe Gallant and his quirky cable show Not Quite Live. It was a perfect example of 90s public access. Sadly, Joe passed away last year, but he left behind a lasting legacy through his show and the many people who were part of it. Many familiar faces in Norwood today first appeared on Not Quite Live. In this segment, produced by Brian Boudreau, we take a look at how Joe's show found its way back on the air, keeping his spirit alive for a new generation of viewers.
And welcome to this, the first of what we hope will be literally hundreds of editions of Not Quite Live, so called because this program is on tape.
Joe Gallant was a fixture in the public access world here in Norwood for probably over 20 years. I first met Joe. He was helping out on the old show Local Gumbo, where he came and helped out whatever we needed. He was always down at the studio. If we needed someone to do scripts, set up a camera, he just loved being around public access in its infancy. I stayed in touch with Joe throughout the years as Norwood Public Access was formed and became Norwood Community Media. And he always would send some emails with some interesting ideas on how to cover sports. He was a real pioneer in sports coverage back in the day. We have some videos of him. He would go to Babson and he would announce hockey games, dressed up, nice and all bundled up for the game, and then he had his statistics and he knew the game inside out, and he would do interviews with the legendary sports writer Frank Wall. So I knew Joe for years, and then recently he reached out and he told me that he was selling his house and that he had a lot of videotapes, which didn't surprise me that he saved everything, and did we want them? And I knew he had a lot of guests on the show, so I thought, you know what, I'll grab these tapes and we'll take a look at them and see what we can do. I had these tapes for a while, and then a few months after that I found out that Joe passed away, unfortunately, and you know, I thought about it and I thought, what a great way to honor his memory in public access, in front of the camera, behind the camera, but to transfer these programs and to get them back on the air, not only to celebrate his memory in the early years of what public access was all about, but also it's also fun to go back in time and relive and see old memories and old interviews of people who were still here in Norwood, and it's fun to look back. When I approached Brian Boudreau about transferring these videotapes, Brian, first of all, was fired up on how to do the transfer, because it's not easy to transfer tapes that are 30 years old. But also, I think Brian also kind of got into the spirit of Joe talking to these people from Norwood who are still in Norwood, and not only did Brian kind of embrace the challenge of transferring these, but I also think we both realize that people are going to enjoy these as they did back 30 years ago.
I call it the time machine. Essentially, we had a bunch of stuff laying around, spare parts, old equipment. And it's basically a big dubbing rack, which is you take an old tape, an old DVD, and you play it back on this machine, and it gets hooked up to a computer, and the computer digitizes that analog video. We just had our 3/4 inch deck repaired, which is a broadcast tape. It's a very big tape, and it needs a special machine to play it. Well, it means for the public, they're going to have they're going to see a lot more vintage content that we haven't been able to play, because our playback system doesn't run on DVDs or tapes anymore. It's all digital, right? It's all files. So in order to show people this stuff that's been sitting on a tape for 20, 30 years, we have to make it a file. And in order to do that, we need equipment like this. And we had all these tapes from that one show, thanks to good old Joe Gallant. And I think it's going to be very entertaining for people to see some of this stuff again. A lot of familiar faces on it.
As a matter of fact, a moderator of a town meeting has a pretty tough job. He has to keep things under control. But since the town meeting happens during the evening, since that's when town meeting members are able to make it, sometimes it starts at 7:30 p.m., sometimes it's on to 10, 10:30, 11 p.m., sometimes even later, and sometimes a lot of people may not want to hang around for the whole evening. They have other concerns like getting up in the morning. So as a result, sometimes you wonder if there's a quorum late at night. Anyhow, we have a piece of videotape, and we'll show you what we mean about how a moderator professionally handles the town meeting in spite of everything that happens and whether or not there is a quorum. So if they tell us we're ready, we're going to see this brief clip, then we'll be back.
Moderator, question the quorum.
Excuse me?
Moderator, question the quorum.
No, there's a quorum here.
In some ways, Joe was ahead of his time because there really wasn't a platform for people to kind of speak out publicly about ideas, information, or promote anything back then. It was just cable TV, no social media, nothing. So for Joe to have this platform, he was ahead of his time, and people responded to his old-fashioned work on the phones to come on the show because they had something to say about a subject here in Norwood or about an event that was up and coming. And Joe had guests coming in all the time.
Tonight on our program, we'll be meeting Bob Donnelly of the Norwood Arts Council. Please welcome Manhattan Transfer. Michael Sad, one of the organizers of the South Norwood Fishing Derby. Please welcome Debbie Homewood. Thank you, and welcome to another edition of Not Quite Live.
The months are flying by, and Clayton Cheever is back with November's edition of Moral Moment to share some books and events happening at the Moral Memorial Library this month.
Greetings, library lovers. Welcome to the Moral Memorial Library, Norwood's public library for everyone. Happy November. I hope you're having a fabulous fall. The library will be closed for a couple of holidays this month. We'll be closed all day on Tuesday, November 11th for Veterans Day. In the last week of the month, we'll close at 5 on Wednesday evening, November 26th, and stay closed all day, Thursday and Friday, for Thanksgiving. We'll reopen on Saturday, November 29th for our regular hours. Every other day this month, we'll be open from 9 in the morning until 9 at night, every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, from 10 to 5 on Fridays, 9 to 5 on Saturdays, and 1 to 5 on Sundays. I'm Clayton Cheever. I use he, his pronouns, and I'm your library director. Now I'm going to tell you about some things happening at the library this month, recommend some books, and tell you about some other ways you can benefit from your library. People in grades 7 through 12 are invited to join us here at the library on Thursday evening, November 20th for Teen Craft Movie Night. This month, we'll be showing Wicked and its BYOC, that's Bring Your Own Craft. We'll leave some lights on, provide some snacks, and put out some tables so people can work on crafts while enjoying the movie. Light conversations are allowed. This will not be a silent movie. Registration is required, so please sign up today. We have two great programs, one night after the other, on Monday and Tuesday, November 17th and 18th. Come at 7 on Monday night for Matisse at War, an author talk by Christopher Gorham on art and resistance in Nazi-occupied France. Return on Tuesday night, also at 7, for a presentation by our friend Alexandra Furtado, a head law librarian with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Trial Court Law Libraries. She'll be discussing current state and federal LGBTQIA+ rights for those living in Massachusetts with legal information on rights regarding gender-affirming care, schools and education, family law, discrimination, and more. This program cannot provide you with legal advice, but it will teach you how to find laws, legal resources, and guides, and how the trial court law libraries can help you when you're experiencing a legal issue. Registration for both of these programs is required, so please sign up to reserve your seats today. Every fall, we host several concerts on Sunday afternoons. This year, we kicked things off in October with great performances by Women in World Jazz and the Steve Rudolph Trio. I hope you'll join us on November 9th for the return of nationally touring troubadour Mark Berger and the final concert this season, the inspiring and award-winning guitarist Hiroya Tsukamoto, on November 30th. Registration for each musical Sunday concert is required as space is very limited. All of our Sunday concerts are funded by the Library Endowment Fund. In addition to all the great books and other physical things you can borrow from the library, our website has a rather overwhelming amount of useful and entertaining content. Our librarians have compiled an organized list of phone numbers and web links for many different topics, including refugee and immigration resources and food, fuel, and housing assistance. Find these lists of community resources on our website under the Reference and Research menu. When you're looking for any kind of help, we can help you find it. Now, let's dive into some fantastic books. Whether you're looking for a delightful read for kids or something more profound for adult readers, we've got something special for everyone. Let's jump right in. Here's a spooky one for a younger audience. It's Freaky Folklore, terrifying tales of the world's most elusive monsters and enigmatic cryptids by Darkness Prevails and Carmen Carrion. From the Beast of Bray Road to Baba Yaga, Yeti, and Groot slang, this illustrated compendium dives into 100 mythical monsters from around the globe. Based on the hit Eerie Cast podcast, it's a beautifully creepy collection that blends folklore, culture, and spine-tingling storytelling with vivid artwork, making it a thrilling gateway for young cryptozoologists. Striking an altogether different note, I've also brought Just in Case, Saving the Seeds in the Svalbard Global Seed Vault by Megan Clendenin, illustrated by Brittany Tachisi. Deep in a Norwegian mountain, the Svalbard Vault stores over 580 million seeds. This is a real-life treasure trove. This book presents a fascinating tale of conservation at its most creative and includes sidebars on polar bears, climate change, and global cooperation. Created for an audience of 5 to 8-year-olds, it's perfect for budding environmentalists. Shifting gears and addressing our more experienced readers, Mudbound by Hillary Jordan is a haunting, multi-perspective novel set in 1940s Mississippi. This book explores the brutal realities of racism, war trauma, and forbidden friendship. When city-bred Laura McCallan is uprooted to a desolate farm, her life intertwines with 2 World War II veterans, her brother-in-law, and a son of black sharecroppers. Their bond defies the Jim Crow South's violent norms, culminating in a devastating reckoning. Jordan's Bellwether Prize-winning debut is praised for its gripping and exquisitely rendered story of betrayal and murder. Every month, and especially in November, my thoughts turn to food. In this piquant platter of a book, National Dish Around the World in Search of Food, History, and the Meaning of Home, 3-time James Beard Award winner Anya von Bremzen travels through France, Italy, Japan, Spain, Mexico, and Turkey to uncover the myths and meanings beyond iconic national cuisines. With wit and insight, she questions whether dishes like pizza margherita or borscht truly represent national identity, or if they're defined more by nostalgia, politics, and globalization. Now, one of the activities I enjoy doing with my friends and family when we get to spend time together is listening to and playing music. Are you aware that we have musical instruments like this güiro that you can bring home? Inspire a jam session, or perhaps a quiet puzzle is more your speed. We have these and so many other great games, musical instruments, pieces of equipment, and more in our Library of Things. Visit our website and browse our Library of Things from the Books and More menu to see what other treasures we have waiting for you. Before I sign off, I want to thank our dear friends of the library. Anytime the library is open, you can browse their ongoing book sale in the nook just by the door to our parking lot. Proceeds from the Friends sales provide support for library programs throughout the year, including the funds for crafts and supplies for programs for kids and teens. This month, they also provided the funds for Judah LeBlanc Presents It's Now or Never on the 1st, Reverse Coloring for Adults on the 4th, Music in Memory, the Accidental Creation of a 92-year-old Social Media Sensation on the 6th, and our monthly puzzle race on the 8th. Please, make sure you have an active membership in the Friends and support them whenever possible, as they make possible so much of what we present here. We are so grateful for all the support. And that's a wrap for this Moral Moment. I'm Clayton Cheever, your guide through the wonders of the library, wishing you a fabulous November. We can't wait to see you at the library. Until next time, happy reading.
The Norwood Community Garden is looking for gardeners to get involved in 2026. Mark Hoover reports from the Community Garden with one of the original members of the garden, John Churchill.
Well, we are here at another one of Norwood's hidden gems. Today our travels take us to the Norwood Community Garden, a terrific place if you like the outdoors air, if you like growing things, and maybe just some good company. I am pleased to be joined today by John Churchill, one of the original members of the Community Garden. John, for those that might not be too familiar with the Community Garden, why don't you tell us a little bit about its roots or history, so to speak?
Great, thank you. Thanks for having me, Mark. And the Norwood Community Garden goes back to 2012. We're on conservation land. Kind of the brainchild, our founder, visionary Susan Clare, got us started, and she's handed it off in such a way that it's just kept on growing and been organized in such a nice way. So our kind of mission, our mindset is we want to grow organic produce in an earth-friendly way. We want to grow community, and so we kind of have both of those hand in hand. A lot of commitment, a lot of engagement, enthusiasm, and we just kind of take it from there.
Yeah, it's a terrific place. I happen to be one of the gardeners as well, and I absolutely love it. John, as I mentioned, you're one of the original ones, one of the first ones here. Over that time, that 14 or some odd years since you've been here, what are some of the growth or expansion that you've seen up here?
Right, so the original 2012 garden had only 32 plots. That was 32 out of 32, and one has some connection to the schools in the area as well. But I would say that the biggest thing is we're almost 3 times as big. There's 90 plots, and we're just kind of growing into it. There's been some time where we've been trying to just kind of make do with adjusting to this new way of the garden, and I think we're finally ready to kind of make sure we're ready for years to come, and that's where we're just trying to get some interest in trying to see if we can add to the space in such a way that people want to get invested and join us.
Right. And some of the things that I've seen since I've been up here are, things like the new greenhouse that we've got there and the apple orchard, the fruit trees are up there. Tell us a little bit about like how those came into being, and again, as we kind of even think more outside the fence, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, in some sense, those are separate entities, and but this is a part of the Indian conservation land, and it's been great to see how the land has developed, and it just builds a nice kind of atmosphere, and we can enjoy that with the sunsets in the evening
it's beautiful
and the harvest.
It is beautiful up here in the summer, for sure. It is one of the nicest views. For someone out there that might be watching this and they may say, I'd like to try my hand at this gardening thing, but I've never grown anything, or someone like myself that says, I can't even grow crabgrass. What do you say to that reluctant gardener about coming up here to try it?
For sure. I'd say it is a commitment, but I think that if you want to do it, you can do it. And I definitely leave a lot to be desired in my 14 years of experience here. We do have some master gardeners. Oof. They are great. They will talk with you. They will help you.
For sure.
Your plot is on your own. You have to take on that responsibility, but if you're willing to do that, it can work out, and we'd love to have you if you're willing to make that commitment.
Yeah. Well, John, you've convinced that person, to come and join the community garden. If that person, wanted some more information about the garden, or maybe even to apply for one of the plots, where do they go and what do they need to do?
The first place I point people to is the town pages, and if you do a search, you can go to find Norwood Community Garden on the town pages. All the specific information there, including the code of conduct and just the details about fees and such. And the email address would be Norwood MA Community Garden at gmail.com.
Well, John, I gotta say, this again is just a terrific place. It is a great spot, for folks to come on up, maybe plant a little bit, grow a little bit, and who knows, you might be able to brag about a tomato or two at your next block party. So, John, thanks so very much for telling us a little bit about our community garden. So, reporting from the community garden for Norwood News, I'm Mark Hoover.
When Norwood News returns, we hear from Chief of Police Chris Padden. We take a look at what's happening in school news, and Ron Marshalsea has this week's sports update.
Tune in weekday mornings at 8:15 for one of New England's longest-running live broadcasts of a high school news program. NHS Update is produced by a dedicated crew of students who arrive early each day to bring the latest school news directly to classrooms and beyond. Using professional-grade equipment provided by Norwood Community Media, these students gain hands-on experience in live TV production while learning the various roles needed to create a fast-paced broadcast. The show covers everything from school news, announcements, and upcoming events to highlights from clubs, sports, and the arts. Special guests often join the broadcast to promote their events, and school administrators use NHS Update as a platform to communicate with the entire student body. NHS Update has opened doors for many students, with alumni going on to pursue careers in communications, broadcasting, and video production. Tune in every weekday at 8:15 a.m. for the live broadcast of NHS Update on the Community Channel, right here on Norwood Community Media.
Staff producer Kiki Thaxter visited the Balch Elementary School last week to talk about the art of conducting an interview. This interactive lesson gave third grade students the opportunity to practice asking questions, listening actively, and getting to know a little bit about Kiki.
So today I came down to the Balch. Laura Mullen and I kind of came up with a presentation to talk about basic communication skills and interviewing skills with the third grade. So it was really fun. It was interactive. We did some, mock interviews, asked some questions, talked about what is involved in a good interview, like speaking clearly, all the above. Yeah, I was actually really impressed. Like these kids, when we talked about what it takes to do a great interview, they right away came up with, how to speak clearly, eye contact, things that I honestly didn't think they would even come up with. So that was really cool to see. So I did used to sub at the Balch years ago, and it was wicked fun, being able to come back and seeing the kids. I didn't get to sub these kids, but it was just cool bringing the teacher aspect into it and then talking about what I love. So it was a great experience.
Food insecurity is an ever-present issue in our world today, and it is only becoming more serious as the days go by. The Norwood Police Department is doing its part and more to make sure people in the Norwood community don't go hungry.
The food drive started, we did this last year, and the goal last year was to kind of help the food pantry in Norwood get extra food for the holidays, because a lot of times that's an issue that needs to be addressed. And then this year, as we got into November, we started talking about the government shutdown and knowing that a lot of people that are working for the government or that are going to be on benefits were going to be short. We decided to start the food drive early. I'm super sensitive to this whole issue. I have two kids that are in the military right now. You worry about people that that work for the government. Now all of a sudden they lose their paychecks, or people that are on benefits that are kind of already living on the edge. So we decided that we would go ahead and get started. So we did a post on the police department website, and as you can see, we had an awesome response from the people within the town. This was before we even had officers out there collecting at the grocery stores. This was just all people bringing food to the station. So in order to make donations, there's 2 boxes in the lobby which we constantly clean out, and you can make donations basically 24/7, 7 days a week, because we're always open. We're the police department. To 32 families yesterday, partially through delivery and partially through people coming in and picking up what they needed. If you're interested or in need of assistance, then you can keep an eye on our Facebook site. That's how we're communicating with people as far as getting the word out of when to be here. We're trying to do it in an organized manner. So we have asked people to sign up through a Google Doc, which has been very effective. Like I said, 32 families we fed yesterday, and Wednesday we hope to at least do that number. We're also going to be packaging up a lot of this and distributing it to the senior housing within town, because a lot of the seniors are on fixed incomes and struggling, and with the addition of food costs and inflation, and anybody that goes food shopping sees their food bill go through the roof, and people that, especially like seniors, that are on a fixed income. A lot of them have gone without, so we've been working with the senior center. The town of Norwood is also going to be doing distributions the next couple of weeks, starting on the 11th, and we'll post that schedule. So you just watch our social media, and we'll post everything to everybody on that as far as how to work that out. And this is just an important issue, and the people in the town of Norwood have been absolutely great. I mean, the generosity is humbling, right? To see all these folks come in. And what I can tell you is the families we distributed food to yesterday, a wide range of people, you know, your friends and neighbors, and they were very appreciative of the help and the assistance. I mean, you know, we had one young single mom in here yesterday with her 3 kids, and she just was so happy to be able to get a little bit extra. And just imagine if that was you, know, if that was your kids, if that was your family, and you can do something to help, and we've been able to do that, and we're happy to do it. And we hope to continue for the next couple of weeks getting this in action and making sure that everybody has a good run up through the holidays. And hopefully the government will come back online, and we'll all be not worrying about this kind of thing anymore. But I think food insecurity is, over the last couple of years, has become a real issue. And we want to make sure that nobody's going hungry. So, especially kids.
Now let's send it over to Shannon Brent for the latest in school news.
I'm Shannon Brent, and let's check out what's happening in our Norwood schools. In Norwood High School news, Brendan Crowley, Dr. Michael Crowley, and some of the sophomore Clean and Renewable Energy Pathway students attended the Trades and Engineering Discovery Day at their Clean Energy Pathway Partner School, the Benjamin Franklin Cummings Institute of Technology in Boston. At the event, the students were able to hear the faculty and current students in the electrical, building energy management, HVAC, and mechatronics programs. The students also participated in various demonstrations of 3D printing circuit boards, creating residential electrical circuits, and a clean energy career aptitude activity. At the end of the event, the students learned about various apprenticeships and co-ops offered through the Institute's programs. The trip was a great success, and everyone in the Clean and Renewable Energy Pathway would like to thank the Institute's staff and the Schools to Careers organization for their help in securing this awesome opportunity for the students. Also at Norwood High School, congratulations to October Student of the Month, Mike DeJour and Tori Roderick. At the Coakley Middle School, Mike Down's grade 5 class had some science experience they would like to share. Innovating was the name of the game. The engineers had to design a way to clean a trash-filled storm drain and retrieve a set of keys that accidentally fell in. They feel they are ready to help out the Norwood DPW. Also, engineers designed and constructed a volleyball machine that launched a ping pong ball back and forth over a net. They have some young Bill the Science Guy in grade 5.
2, 3. Launch it. Nice. Oh, yeah, that's go. 2, 3. Nice. 1. They never wait.
Thanks for sharing these pictures so we can see science in action in the 5th grade class. At the Callahan School, 1st grade students are hard at work during Ignite Reading. Ignite Reading is a one-on-one tutoring program that provides reading instruction that targets every student's individual needs. Each 15-minute session is provided by the same virtual teacher every day, who boosts students' confidence and motivates them to work hard to master new skills. Every student is making progress. At the Cleveland School, Miss Catalano's 3rd grade class showcased rhythm, coordination, and joyful focus last week in a holiday cup passing challenge.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Ready?
Also at the Cleveland, students participated in bus evacuation drills last week. They learned about what to do in an emergency and all the different ways to exit a bus. And the 1st graders were tasked with designing a fence to hold pumpkins. They had to plan, design, and test their own prototypes. Let's go to the classroom. At the Oldham School, they celebrated their students who demonstrated respect throughout the school. Students were also recognized for being most improved in ST math during the month of October. As a school, they reached 20% puzzle completion and earned a school-wide pajama day to celebrate. The Prescott School finished its whole school read of The Wild Robot by Peter Brown. To celebrate this accomplishment, students participated in a STEM challenge, where they had to construct a protective shelter for the character Brightbill when he was an egg. The challenge was to create a protective structure using a set amount of supplies, like straws, paper cups, plastic bags, string, and tape, and to have an actual egg survive 2 rounds of an egg drop. Students worked in mixed grade level groups to plan and engineer their protective shelters. Then students took the products to the first round of testing, where eggs were placed inside the structures and dropped into a piece of plywood from the playground. Of the 50 or so structures to start, 21 made it to the final round. On the final day, there was an excellent surprise for the students when their principal, Mr. Riley, dropped their eggs from the front of the building. Of the 21 structures in the final round, 9 survived the final egg drop. Congratulations to those students for designing, creating, engineering, and constructing a protective shelter that would protect an egg. This was a wonderful community building activity for the whole school. That wraps up this week's school news. A big thank you to all the teachers who shared their updates. It's thanks to you that we get to celebrate the amazing things happening in our school each week. Reporting for Norwood School News, I'm Shannon Brent. And now here's Ron Marshalsea with the latest in sports.
I'm Ron Marshalsea, and this is your sports update. The football team is going to be at Pembroke on Thursday the 6th, which as of this recording has not happened yet, but we'll let you know what happened on the next sports update. And don't forget the 96th Thanksgiving matchup between the Norwood Mustangs and the Dedham Marauders will be live on the NCM Community Channel Thanksgiving morning at 10 a.m. The field hockey team earned the number 13 spot in the MIAA D2 rankings, which earned them a home game against Oliver Ames in the round of 32, and a game it was. The Mustangs battled the Tigers through 2 overtimes and a shootout to get the win and advance to the round of 16. Mo Larkey got the shootout scoring started for the Mustangs, with Allie O'Neill adding 1 as well. After the Tigers answered to tie it, both goalies made huge stops to get to the next pair of shooters, including this boot from Cece Indek. Madison Doucette and Katie Malley each bury 1 more with another stop from Indek to force the Mustangs into the next round. Commentators Joe Pinola and Nora Glynn asked a few questions to star senior goalie Cece Indek after the game.
What a job, Cece. You stood on your head there in that.
That was stressful.
My
okay.
gosh.
That was my first question. How stressful was that?
Very stressful.
Well, you rose to the occasion and you made everybody so proud and so happy. You must be so happy. That's so great.
I really got to thank my defense there. They did so great.
Awesome. Giving credit where credit is due,
but you were the one all by yourself out there.
I mean, I get it, but for most of the game, they kept their shots very low.
No,
so
they
I love
did.
My defense for that.
Oh,
that is a good team, but you're right. That's a great crew we've got here. Now, did you have any strategy going into that shootout against some of their shooters? Maybe I'm going to come out further, stay back, or was it just let's see what develops?
Just don't panic.
Okay, I like that. That's good.
Yeah, that's right.
So how often do you practice that in practice?
We started doing it more towards the end of the season.
Oh, just toward the end of the season.
And we did a good round of it for our last practice.
Did you have any shootouts prior to this?
Not that I've done. I've witnessed Ava hide.
No, I meant this year, yourself, yeah.
All right, so we kind of threw you into the fire in playoffs, I guess, here, huh? Now, did that change in overtime for you, playing obviously with only six players in front of you as opposed to many, many more? Do you shift your strategy for that as well?
I guess I try to focus more on clears to the outside, because if I make a bad clear on that, they can just get another shot off. So
you did that. I was gonna compliment you on that, because you had a couple of great clears. I said, I'm so glad you hit that far away, because they can't get the rebound, and that's even on the shootout. They can get a rebound if you kick it back to them.
Yeah.
So it can just congratulations, just kudos to you. It was great.
Thank you.
I had one more question.
Did you get a chance to talk with Katie before that winning shot?
No, I was just over there praying she made it.
There you go.
Well, I know the other thing is you also had the pressure of that last corner shot. Before that, I said, oh my goodness, this is so.
Time expired on
Time
that,
expired,
right?
and
there's been 3 games at least this season where that's happened, and it's stressful. But with only having 2 people in the net to help me, that was probably the most stressful.
It is. I know. Well, you did a great job. Congratulations. I can't say enough. It was an awesome game, and I'm so glad we have it on film.
Absolutely. And now we head to Canton. This is an opponent you know. Any insights before we get ready to play Canton?
Have a better game than I did last.
Well, I'm sure the team is hoping for a different result, but I guess the playoffs, anything can happen, right?
Anything can happen. That's right. And it was great to have a win on home court.
It's really great.
Home field.
Well, congrats, Cece. Cece is a wonderful kid. I have the pleasure of having her in class this year, so I'll see you on Monday.
Hey, best of luck.
But she did a great job in goal and totally deserves all the accolades she's gonna get. Congratulations and good luck against Canton.
Can I get a pass on that physics lab? You know?
All right, we will talk about that one. Congratulations, Cece. You did a fantastic job, and you made all of us very, very proud here today. Nice work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The Mustangs headed over to Canton for the round of 16 game, but the Mustangs couldn't get the win over the Bulldogs. The score of this one was not at all indicative of how Norwood played, never giving up until the very last whistle. A big congratulations to this team on a solid season, and good luck to the seniors. The cross-country team competed at the Frank Mooney State Coaches Invite last Saturday. Aria Callahan, Kieran Gorman, Cam Shaw, and Bridget Flynn all earned medals. And Bridget won the sophomore race by almost a full minute. The Mustangs will be competing at the State Divisional Championship next Saturday at Northfield Mountain. The volleyball team went to Longmeadow to face the number 3 seeded Lancers on Saturday the 1st, but couldn't grab the win. This team battled in every single game, and they had an excellent season, finishing at number 30 in the rankings and an 8-12 record. The unified basketball team hosted their senior night this past Monday, with everyone on the team contributing to the nail-biting 55-52 win. The 3 seniors, Sean Michael Shaw, Chris Wilds, and Josiah Robinson, were honored before the game, and each of them dropped some points, including a few big buckets from Robinson. Here is a highlight reel of the night and the big Mustang win.
It to Josiah Robinson, a 3 coming from Josiah, and he knocks it down. Chris Wilds makes the shot. Oh, the crowd gets into that one.
Yep, that's going to get Norwood right back in this game. Here's some menacing defense.
Here's Isaiah Lesperance. Oh, he knocks it in off the backboard to tie it up.
What a shot there. The step back, banks it in for 3 to tie the game.
And that is all I have for this sports update. I'm Ron Marshallseed, and Norwood News will be right back after this break.
I'm
The Zoning Board of Appeals started its meeting on Tuesday with a public hearing for 119 Leiden Street, case number 25 to 23, a request for a special permit for a single-family home addition under Norwood zoning bylaw section 5.4. A representative from RK Construction spoke about the proposed addition, and the board approved the projects as submitted. The board then discussed the comprehensive plan strategy work session, during which Shannon Greenwell and Alex Jones, Assistant Director of Community Development, reviewed the comprehensive plan with the board. Following this discussion, the board motioned to approve the ZBA 2026 meeting schedule. At this week's school committee meeting, Superintendent Tim Luff shared an update on the elementary school redistricting plans.
So my goal today was just to share with you my thought process, how I'm proceeding with next steps, to share with staff where we are in the conversation about transfers, knowing that many of you will have conversations with me based on the number of sections over the course of the next month to identify what if, where you want to move, how you want to move, and try to finalize that. And then to notify kind of families that there are some imperfections in any study and that there may be some shifts for individual students and maybe from some of these neighborhoods if we can't equalize sizes. But overall, we are pretty close to where we want to be, and so I'll know more in January, but I will take any questions that you have.
Just before I turn it over to the committee, Dr. Luff, thank you. This is very detailed and I think well thought out, and I'd just like to say, you know, again, for somebody that was sort of a part of this process when it started, and can say that I've been here long enough, you know, right, this whole process is born out of the fact that we built a new middle school, and in that middle school we moved our 5th graders up. So in moving, that created, you know, space across our elementary schools, and sort of that was the entry point into this question and the purpose of the study that, you know, that did this, that was, okay, we're going to have this space, what does the next best step look like? So, you know, I just want to reiterate to community members, this, you know, we take this very seriously. I'll leave sort of my personal opinion about it with neighborhood schools and in towns. That's a different discussion, but we are where we are. And as a result of sort of the configuration that we did with the middle school, this was the trickle-down effect. So there is going to be movement. We have to do this, and I think it was well thought out. And, you know, we brought in a group to sort of study and give us some of those points and be sort of a third party that is neutral, and we can sort of feed in data and say, hey, what about this? Hey, what about this? And this is what this has produced. So I know there are a lot of questions, but I just wanted to make sure that I sort of said that before we turn it over to the committee.
Later in the meeting, the committee talked budget forecasting and what the next several years may look like from a financial point of view. Chair David Hiltz summed it up best in his addenda.
So, you know, we have a couple of things. Obviously, with the budget coming up, not just this year, but in years forward, we are going to have some challenges. Along with that, I know that, you know, we've called it redistricting, reconfiguration, you know, what it may be with, you know, the elementary schools. And this is something that I say one of the hardest things about this seat is no matter what decision you make, everyone is never going to be happy. You know, part of our job is to make decisions based on the information that we have and try to make the best decision for the most amount of people, and that is not always easy. I think through both of these processes, I think since I have been on here, the budget process has been very open and transparent on the school side. And when it comes to, you know, having been involved with the redistricting piece, you know, again, as I had said earlier before we started the conversation, this all started because we built a 5 through 8 middle school, and that's where that has led us. And sort of the next iteration of our elementaries, you know, we have what that vision is. This is not something that is new, that is sprung on people. This has been 3 years worth of work. You know, we indeed did delay this a year because people's concern with so much movement, you know, and I say that not to just to point out how we've done that, but, you know, we know that, you know, we have a vision and we think the vision is going to be the best for the Norwood Public Schools. We know not everyone will agree with that, but I just ask that you hear us and you get involved in that process in the manner in which we've done forums before. There will be another forum, remind me, Monday, November 17th at 6:30 p.m. Do we have a location for that?
We're going to be in this. We're going to be in the Savage Center.
Okay.
If I get multiple members that want to come out and be here that we can't fit, we'll probably move it to the Coakley, but for now we're in the Savage.
Great. So for now, that would be at the Savage, and I would encourage people to come, and that's where Dr. Luff is running that. That would be more of a you can ask questions and get answers. Where if you do come here, we encourage you. Please share your opinions, but obviously when it's public comment, we don't get to answer back.
The school committee will meet again on December 3rd. The Finance Commission met remotely on Tuesday afternoon to review the special town meeting warrant articles as well as finalizing pink sheets. The Planning Board held a public hearing Monday night for 63 to 65 Manhattan Street. Residents may remember this as the old Tyco or Mason Nealon property. The property is now owned by Crosspoint Associates. David Hearn, representing Crosspoint, using zoning procedure, requested the board to approve the plan of a cul-de-sac on the subdivision of the property. It's not a plan to build, but a maneuver to lock in the current zoning of the property. It cannot be changed if on plans it has been subdivided with road access. With the special town meeting approaching, town meeting members were invited to attend an information session reviewing all of the articles on the warrant. The town manager, the superintendent of schools, and department heads were on hand to answer questions about the articles. This meeting and several meetings where the articles were discussed are being broadcast on NCM throughout this week and available on NCM's video on demand. Special town meeting begins on Thursday, November 13th at 6:30 in the Norwood High School auditorium. Norwood Community Media visited ServiceMaster earlier this week to highlight the company's extremely generous donation supporting lymphangioliomyomatosis, or LAM research, at Brigham and Women's Hospital. Kiki Thaxter reports.
I'm Kiki Thaxter down at ServiceMaster, where Stephen Gilmore and his team recently made a very generous donation of $100,000 for a cause close to them.
We do disaster restoration, so we do clean up after fire damage, water damage, mainly for the commercial industry, some residential. And I just want to thank so many people for donating, for raising $100,000 for the research team at Brigham and Women. Without the industry's help, we wouldn't have gotten where we're at today.
It's just amazing. It's wonderful. And to help Dr. Hensky and her lab help try to find a cure for LAM.
So we abbreviate it LAM, which stands for lymphangioliomyomatosis. It's a very unusual disease that affects only women and causes destruction of the lungs, and it progresses most rapidly during pregnancy and during premenopausal years. So this is huge for us because we really rely on funding to support the research scientists, many of whom are here today to do the actual research to understand how we can best treat LAM and develop therapies that will ultimately cure LAM. So we are just incredibly grateful for the support from ServiceMaster by Gilmore to let us do our work and move forward. Very, very grateful.
Again, just so grateful for the runners and for everyone who donated to ServiceMaster by Gilmore for Cure for Kathy for the Falmouth Road Race. Very grateful. Appreciate it.
It's so wonderful to have the chance to raise awareness about LAM. Many women who have LAM don't actually even know they have it. A kind of typical story would be a woman who just had a baby who's feeling tired and a bit short of breath, and her physicians she may believe that she just needs to get back in shape. No one realizes that those symptoms are because of destruction of the lungs.
It's a lot of money. If you compare it to other, if you compare it to Dana-Farber, to Break, it's a peanut to what they receive. However, the $100,000 for this team is huge, and please God, we'll get a cure, and not just for Kathy, but for the other women who don't even know they have it today. Other women who do have it, we can find a cure and put this thing to bed, because it's she's on a chemo drug every night, so the disease itself causes fatigue, and then you throw in the the chemo drug. It causes more fatigue. So she does great. You know, she's a champion. Typical woman, never complains, never just goes on, just moves forward. So, you know, it was great for the team at ServiceMaster to run in the race, to support it, and that's what makes our company kind of unique, is the love everyone has together. You know, somebody's down and out, we're gonna really do what we can to make it work. So it's great.
Reporting from the corner of Lenox Street and Washington Street, I'm Kiki Thaxter.
Well, that's a wrap for this edition of Norwood News. For the latest updates and stories, be sure to follow Norwood Community Media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks for tuning in, and from all of us here at NCM, have a great weekend. We'll leave you with a Veterans Day promo. Be sure to tune in live Tuesday, November 11th on the NCM Community Channel around 10:30 to watch the ceremony celebrating all veterans on the Town Common. Have a good one.
Just a reminder, Veterans Day is coming up, celebrated every year on the 11th month, the 11th day at the 11th hour. This year's event starts with the Mass at St. Catherine's at 8 in the morning. The annual parade will step off from the Arundel Park at 10:30, making its way to the Town Common, where ceremonies will begin around 10:45. There will be a moment of silence at 11 a.m. to honor fallen veterans. And if you can't make it in person, NCM will be broadcasting the ceremonies live from the Town Common on the NCM Community Channel.